My job is to teach you how to buy a business. My job is to prepare you to become a business owner, to become a business leader. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I'm going to say it over and over again. If you want to get into business, if you want to own your own business, if you want to make that jump, you have to be prepared for fear, uncertainty, and doubt hitting you every second of the day, even when you're sleeping. Okay? That's what it's like to be a business owner. You're going to hit with these waves, and just from everybody, doubters around you, from your employees, from customers, from the way you see things running. You're going to get hit with that fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Business won't be going as well as you hoped, right? You're going to have all these expectations and things just won't happen, but you have to push through. You've got to hang on long enough. So I want to cover one of the biggest things, call it a misconception, call it a fear, call it a myth of buying a business. So props to anyone who wants to start their own business. Do not start your own business from scratch. And I'm going to make a lot of analogies here. You should always buy an existing business. If you want to get into the business world, if you want to be your own boss, buy an existing business. Why? Would you rather buy a used car or build your own from scratch? Would you rather buy a home that's pre-built, as 99% of us do, or build your own from scratch, right? Especially if it's your first time doing it. I am gearing all of my content towards first time business buyers. First time business buyers. Do not start a business from scratch. It costs so much more and there's so much more headache and hassle. Buy a business. Buy an existing business. Okay? bizbuysell.com, that's where you buy it. Look at my videos. I'll show you how to go through it. We have to talk about the fear of buying a business. When you're buying a business, it is a lot like buying a used car. You have to know that you are buying a used piece, a used asset, a used vehicle, so to speak. Call it the business. It's going to have problems. It's going to need to have things changed, replaced, repaired. It's going to need TLC. This is what you're getting involved with when you buy a business, okay? Business owners aren't selling their business because everything's going well, especially for the price point. For your first time business, as I said in my last videos, between 200 and 500,000, that's the target price range you want for your first time business. It just lowers your risks, and that's pretty much, that's the price of a house. So if you're going to choose between a house or a business, buy a business because it produces you income, and it puts you on a completely different path, okay? So in that price range, you have to know that you are not getting the best. You are going to be lied to. Things are going to be left out. You're going to get screwed along the way. You're going to encounter problems from day one. You have to expect this. And this is the fear. This is the number one fear of people, that they don't know what they're getting involved in. And if you can't get over that, then you have no business being a business owner, because every single business is going to have problems. If you are not okay with fear, if you're not okay with uncertainty, and if you're not okay with doubt, the self-doubt that comes with moving forward with each step, then you are not a business leader. And you shouldn't buy a business because it's likely going to fail. This is why 70% of businesses fail, okay? And even then, the 30% that do succeed, the owners get stuck making a small amount of money, and they're afraid to get out of it, right? They've got it running, they don't know how they're running it, and they're struggling every day. They're working 7 days a week, 80 hours a week. True business owners don't work on the business. They don't do anything. In fact, they just grow businesses. They just think of ideas of what to do next. Really, that's what true business owners do. They build more business. They're not actually out there like shoveling the snow or things like that, or mowing the lawn, or putting the car. They're not doing that. That's not what a real business owners do. Okay? I can't tell you how many people told me, you'd be working 100 hours a week on your business. It's going to fail. You don't know what you're doing. Your employees are going to steal from you. They're not going to work hard. They're not going to respect. That's all you're going to hear from people. That's all you're going to hear from everybody in your life. Small percentage will be positive about it and wish you the best, but behind their backs, they're waiting for you to fail, right? Because they're so miserable and they're so negative that they can't stand to see someone else succeeding in this world, or at least trying, okay? Wealth's a mindset. Wealth is a mindset. Wealth is a mindset. You need to prepare yourself mentally for starting your own business, for buying your first business. And again, I make the analogy to a used car. Know what you're getting involved in, okay? Because once you know that you're buying a business that's going to have problems, it makes the road so much clearer, okay? It makes each step easier, because each step is going to be filled with fear, uncertainty, and doubt. When you get the financial statements, when you get the list of customers, when you recognize that they don't have the best employees, when you recognize that the trucks that you bought weren't in the condition that the seller said they are in, when you realize that customers are leaving because the previous business owner tapped out, and that's why they're selling the business because they're tired of doing it. You have to understand what you were being sold. You were being sold something, and there's no, there are going to be problems with it. Every business has problems. Every single one. There is not a business without problems. And if it's being sold on bizbuysell.com and it's between that 200 and 500,000 price range, which is your first time buying a business, it's going to be hard. If you want to get into the world, if you want that freedom, it's going to cost you. And it's going to cost you really your character and yourself. But along the way, that journey, you build so much confidence, you feel unstoppable, and eventually you're buying businesses left, right, and center with no experience because you know the game. So the price of admission, call it your character, call it your current version of yourself, because you need to be able to face the fear, doubt, and uncertainty and know that you can do it. So again, buying a business is like buying a used car. You're going to need to replace things. You need to go into it with the mentality that this thing is broken and you have to fix it. You need to go into it like that. You can't be surprised when things go wrong. You can't be. Because things are going to go wrong every day, even after you buy the business. Even after you buy the business and you start growing it, you're still going to get hit with surprises every day. You're still going to get hit with problems. So if you're not okay with that, don't buy a business, okay? Quite honestly, people are so afraid of going bankrupt or losing all their money that they're getting ahead of themselves. And I don't blame them too, because you're not really taught this. You need a guide when you buy a business. You need a guide, and that's what I'm here for, to get you over that hump, to be that positive influence in your life, because all you're going to hear from all around you is negativity. Negativity. And then that impacts you. That's that fear, uncertainty, and doubt. It comes from inside, because that's how we're taught, that's how we're raised, and it comes from external forces, and it's natural to a degree. You need to break through that barrier. You need someone to be there with you who understands the journey you're going through. No man does it all by himself. No person does it all by themselves. You need a guide. If you look at every millionaire and billionaire out there, I will say the same thing. They all had mentors. They all had guides that helped them get to the next level. You can't get there on your own. I promise you, you can't. You need support. You need positive affirmation. It's just like anywhere you grow up. If you grow up surrounded by negativity, if all your family members are smokers and drinkers, chances are you're going to be too. And it's going to be harder and harder for you to break out of that cycle. Find positive influences in your life. This is why I'm trying to build this community here, a community of positive thinkers who know they can do it. Learn from me. Listen to my lessons. Listen to my mistakes. But again, get it through your head. It's you can call it a tough journey, but I'm excited every day by it. I'm excited every day because I know where my vision is. I took my business from losing $20,000 a month to profitable in just 6 months in an industry I knew nothing about. Nothing about. And I know it can be repeated. I know it can be repeated in other industries. So I'm excited. I held on, and I always had hope, and everything I did every day, I gave it my best. And I just tell everyone, I even tell my employees, we're going to make it. We're doing great. We're growing. We're expanding. There's more opportunity coming. And there has been. Right? Because it's out there. It's not hard to get customers. It's really not. It's not hard to want to grow a business. It's really not. The only thing that's going to stop you is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Okay? So if 70% of businesses fail because people get afraid and they make bad decisions, that's 70%. I can help you get through that real easily. The other 30% of businesses that become successful, the owners wind up doing a lot of the work themselves, and they're afraid to give up control. They're afraid to delegate to managers. They're afraid to let other people do things so that they can step back and grow the business more. So if you're lucky enough to be in that 30% of businesses that, you have a thriving business, but, this is the case, I see it for a lot of them, right? For 10 years, nothing happens. 10 years, they make maybe 70 grand a year. And they get stuck in that pattern of, well, I don't want to take any more risk. Like, it was hard enough getting to where I am now. I can't believe I'm profitable. I can't believe I have a business. I don't want to screw with it. I don't want to tinker. I can't hand it off to someone else. This is mine. I have to protect it. And that's that lack. That's that poor person mentality. Like, they don't even realize how powerful they really are. They don't even realize just their strengths and their skills. They don't even realize it. And if only they'd be willing to give up control and be the owner. Like an owner is a role, and we have these structures for a reason, and they exist, and they work in other companies just as well. All you have to do is look at all the other billion-dollar corporations out there. Do you think the owner or the CEO is doing any of the work? No. So why are you? So why are you? It's all possible. People just are afraid. Again, they're afraid it can't be them. And again, positive influences. So we got to get over that fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Get it through your mind. Get it through your mind, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to walk you through all of the fears, the uncertainties, and doubts that will stop you in your tracks from achieving your goals of being a business owner and building generational wealth. It's all in your head. It's all in your head. Wealth is a mindset. Wealth is a mindset. Okay?